Welcome back. In this section, we are going to learn about spring-data-jpa's pagination support. And also, we are going to learn about Spring Data extension support for pagination. Usually, from the user point of view, page numbers starts with 1, 2, 3, and so on. But spring-data-jpa's page numbers start with 0. So we are going to learn about how we can handle this and then make it look like a page number starts with 1. And finally, we are going to create a Thymeleaf fragment that shows a pagination bar with first, previous, next, last buttons, and we will make it a reusable fragment. So let's get started. Currently, in our homepage, we are displaying the public shortened URLs, all of them at once. But usually this is not a preferred approach because the number of shortened URLs can grow over the time, and it can be thousands or millions of records, and we shouldn't show all that information at once. So we are going to use pagination, and then per page, let's say we can show 10 at a time. And also we need to display first, previous, next, last kind of navigation elements in that pagination bar. So how are we going to implement that? Luckily, spring-data-jpa already provides support for pagination. So let us first understand how we can use spring-data-jpa's pagination support. So if you take a look at our short URL repository, currently we are extending JPA repository interface. And if you go to JPA repository interface, we are extending a couple of other interfaces. If you take a look at this list, paging and sorting repository, let's go to that. It also internally extending another repository called paging and sorting repository. So in this one, we have a couple of methods which are obviously inherited to our short URL repository. And here we have a find all method, and which takes a sort input, and also there is another find all method which takes a pageable argument and then return a page of some argument types. Okay, so this sort is to just say, okay, what on what property you want to sort, and you can pass multiple parameters like, okay, I want to sort on this column in ascending order, and then we want to sort on the secondary column using descending order. So something like that, we can pass one or more such sort options. And then in this find all pageable argument, you can also specify, okay, I want to have just a subset of elements like page number 1, where page size is 10 or 20, and you can sort based on so and so columns. So usually we should use pagination with specifying with some sort option. Otherwise, the results are going to be random, because if you don't specify a specific sort order, it is not predictable. So always use the pagination with some sorting option. So now we are going to use this method and pass the pageable argument to get a subset, a page of information. And what we are going to get as a return type, we are going to get a page of short URL objects. And this page contains all the information that is necessary for us to render the this pagination bar. So it contains a get content method, which is going to return the actual data, like maybe 10 records of short URLs. And then it will have methods like get page number, get total pages, get total number of elements. So you have all the information that is required for us to render this pagination bar. So before actually using this, let us first implement that with some static values and then explore how we can use a spring-data-jpa's pagination bar. So in our home page, we are calling this find all public short URLs. So here, let us call short URL find all, and let us create a pageable argument, pageable. So we can use page request of, you can specify what is the page number. Spring-data-jpa page number starts with 0. So the first page number is 0. And how many elements we want to have per page? 10. And what is the sort criteria? We can say sort by descending order of created at column. Okay, and then we can pass that pageable argument, and we are going to get short URLs page. So we are not going to use this at, it is going to function as it is, but we are going to put a debug pointer, and then we can see what information we can get out of this one. So now if I refresh, here you can see we have a short URL page and total elements are 26. So content, this has a list of 10 elements, and you can even inspect. Okay, let's evaluate some expressions here. So here we can call get content, which is going to be a list of 10 elements. Okay, and there are other total elements which returns totally there are 26 elements, and also the pagination is for 10 records we are putting in a page, right? So accordingly it will calculate how many pages are there. There are 3 pages, and also we can use methods like has previous. So this is our first page, there is no previous page, so it is returning false, and also there is a next page. Yes, there is a next page. So we get all this information from this page return type. So we can use this information for rendering our pagination bar. The pagination support is not only available for built-in find all methods and all, we can also use the same pagination support with our custom methods as well. For example, here we have our own method find public short URLs, right? We can also make it take a pageable argument, and in return, instead of returning a list of short URL objects, we can return a page of short URL objects. So let us change this find public short URLs method to accept a pageable argument. So here let's go and add this. And one thing is, earlier we were directly sending this order by clause here, but we can pass that sorting information through pageable. So we can remove this, and we can keep the rest of the things like here we want to return only the public URL. So this condition we can keep it here. And now instead of returning a list of page URLs, let us return page of short URLs. Okay, so now if we go back here, we can pass this pageable. Okay, and it is we can loop through all this stream, and then we don't need to call a stream here. I think we have a direct map method available. So let me, okay, so the page has a map method which takes a converter, and here we are passing this to short URL DTO method which takes short URL object and then convert into short URL DTO, and finally we are converting that to into a list. So we are still returning a list of objects only. For now, let us keep it as it is. Do not change the return type, and then let us see if we are able to fetch different page data. And also right now we are hard coding this here. Instead, let us take these parameters as inputs through this method. So here we say page number and page size. Okay, and one thing is, from user point of view, we are going to get the page numbers starting with page number 1, 2, 3 onwards. But spring-data-jpa assumes page number starts with 0, 1, 2, 3. So what we can do, we can just compare page number equals to page number. If it is greater than 1, let us simply change reduce the page number by 1. Otherwise, take it as 0. Okay. So here what we are doing, if it is greater than 1, so simply if they pass 1, we are going to take it as 0. If they pass it as 2, we are going to take it as 1. Otherwise, if they pass 0 or any negative values, we are going to take it as first page 0. So simply it can act as a corner case handling situation also. We can take this page size. Okay, so now we need to pass these values from our home controller, and we can take a page number as a request query parameter. So let us use at request param and take it as a page, and you can also specify what is the default value. For a default, I'm going to specify as 1. Okay, so now what I can do, okay, not as a string, as integer long. Maybe we don't need long also, integer is sufficient. Okay, now I can pass the page number to this, and let us make the page size as a configurable property in our application properties here. So here I'm going to specify int page size and default value as 10. Okay, now what I can do, maybe if you want to change it, we can change it. For now, let us keep it as 10 only. Okay, let's close them, and now I can use properties dot page size. Okay, so what happens if I access home page without passing any page equals to 1 or some request query parameter? It's going to take 1 and then pass it to this method. If I want to get page number 2, I can specify a request query parameter page equals to 2, and then it's going to pass it and get the information. So I think there are a couple of other places. So in create short URL also, if there is any error, we are again using the same method. So here we can hard code this as a first page and a page size, because if there is any error, we are going to redisplay and we can leave it to first page. Okay, now I'm going to start the application. And I will go and get, okay, so here you can see right now only we got 10 records, and if I specify question mark page equals to 2, I will get second page. You can see they changed, the values got changed. If I say page number 3, I get the last 2 elements only. So like that, you can pass this pagination as a request query parameter. And also let us take a look at what kind of a queries that it is going to generate behind the scenes. Now, if we go to page number 1, let us see what queries generated behind the scenes. So here you can see there are 2 queries that are triggered. One is to fetch the data, which uses fetch first n rows only, that is to fetch the first 10 records. And then there is another query that is triggered to count the total number of records which are private equals to false. So to count total number of elements and then page number of pages, it needs to get the total elements for the criteria, right? So it triggered 2 queries. Now let us trigger the second page. Okay, so here you can see, in addition to fetch first rows only, it also mentioned offset. So for the second page, it needs to start from 11th row, right? So it also mentioned that as well. So like that, internally, it uses whatever the database offset or limit, what are the syntax it supports. Spring-data-jpa uses that and then generate this result set. So now we know how to get a particular page data, and then currently we are just returning the list of elements, but let us change it to return more information about the pagination and then try to render the UI accordingly with pagination bar. Now I'm going to create a model object called page result. So it's a typed element where we can specify different type of objects to store, and you capture all the pagination related information. So here we are using T as a generic type. So we can make it as a page result of short URLs or page result of user, whatever we want to store the type of data. And here we are maintaining what is the current page number, what are total pages available, what are the total number of elements available, is it first page, last page, do we have a next page, do we have a previous page. So all the information we can store in this page result. So now We have another a static method which takes a page. This is from spring-data-jpa. So it takes a page of some type of objects and then prepares our own page result object. So it is going to take the content, the change that is from page to our page result is the page number. As we have already seen, from spring-data-jpa point of view, page number starts with 0. So when we ask for first page, it is going to return page.getNumber, it is going to return as 0. But for our users, we should show them as page number 1. So I'm increasing it to 1 and then hold the information, rest of the information in page result. Now what I'm going to do, instead of returning a list of short URL DTOs, I would like to return a page result of short URL DTOs. So how can I do that? So here I am taking that page of short URL DTOs and then I am using this static method to convert that into page result. Now we need to accordingly make changes here as well. So it is going to be page result of short URL DTOs and also here. Okay, but we assumed this short URLs is a simple list of short URLs, but now we changed this into a page result object. So accordingly, we need to change in our Thymeleaf template as well. So in our Thymeleaf template, in index.html, here we can see earlier it was a list. Now it is a paged object. Now we need to change it to .data is empty, because here we are checking the actual, does the data has elements or is it empty. So similarly we need to use this here, and also while iterating you need to iterate over actual data, not on the page result. So here we have that. So with those changes I think we should be good enough. Now let us restart the application. Okay, we got the data, and right now we don't have pagination bar, so let us add to. Okay, so it is seems to be working fine. Yes, we are able to show the data, but we need to have the pagination bar right now. So next let us create that pagination Thymeleaf template. So here in if short URLs data is not empty, so below the table we should display the pagination bar. So here I am pasting code snippet of displaying the pagination nav bar. Here let me walk you through this. So here we are using this bootstrap markup to render this pagination bar. What we are doing, we are showing this navigation bar only if there are more than one page only. Okay, if there is only one page, there is no point in displaying the pagination bar. So we are using this if the total pages is nothing but a property in our page result, right? So if total pages is greater than 1, then only we are displaying this pagination bar. And as a first element we are having this Thymeleaf, and we are sending a request to home page with page number equals to 1. So it doesn't matter how many pages are there and all that, but first when user click on the first button, we should take them to page 1. Okay, so we have it. And also conditionally here we are appending whether should we disable this or not. Why? Assume we are already on page 1, there is no point in enabling this and then letting the user click on it again. So we are conditionally checking if the current page is first one, disable this button. We don't need to enable, but if it is not, then don't apply anything, which means it is going to be enabled by default. And again in the similar way we have previous button. Again here we are checking the page number equals to current number -1. We should go back one page, and again we are conditionally checking if it is first, there is no previous, so disable this, otherwise don't disable this. Similarly, we are just displaying the text of, okay, current page number of total pages and total elements, just for the informational purposes. So it is going to look like something like this. Page 1 of 5 or 3, totally there are 200 elements, something like that. And then we have next and last, and similar logic applies for the last page. We just go to page number equals to total pages, and for the next page we just go to next current page plus 1, and conditionally if it is already last page, disable this. Similar here. So nothing much complex. I just took the entire page navigation bars markup from the bootstrap CSS, and then use Thymeleaf conditionally rendering and then dynamically passing the data. That's it. Okay, with this one, now let us restart our application and then go to our home page. Here you can see we have first, previous, and then information about a page 1 of 3. Totally there are 22 elements, and next, last buttons enabled. If I click on next, it is right now page 2 of 3, and both there is a next and last elements enabled, and there is previous and first elements enabled. So you can go like this. Okay, so our pagination is working fine. So one minor improvement I would like to do is, so not only in our home page we are using this navigation bar, we are going to use this in a couple of different screens also. So instead of directly putting it here, I would like to create it as a fragment and then include it. So how I can do that? In our templates directory, let me create a HTML page, pagination.html. I'm going to move that entire nav element into that. Okay. Now I'm going to include that using th:\insert. So here we can use this syntax of pagination. So here we are simply including that content here. So in a different page, we can simply use this to include the pagination bar. Like in my URLs, you can also display the list of your own URLs using pagination bar. Click on it. Now let's make sure it is working fine. Yes, it is working fine. Okay, so everything seems to be working fine, except there is one catch here. When I moved the navigation bar into its own fragment, here we have hard-coded the URL. Like when I click on the first button or previous button or any other these buttons, I am sending the request to /, which is going to be home page, right? But later, when I include this page to say my URLs page, I would like it to go to /my URLs, not to /home page. So we will see how we can parameterize this part as well. Instead of hard coding /, we can simply make it again one more model attribute, and then we can use that as well. So we will do that when we are working on our my URLs page. So in our home page, we pretty much take the control of getting the page number and then preparing the pageable argument here. So we did all our custom implementation, but spring-data-jpa also provides an extension where we can include automatically binding the request parameters to a pageable argument. So instead of taking the page number and then creating, you can simply have, let's say, a pageable argument. Okay. So you can directly have this, and then you can simply pass it to find all public short URLs method instead of passing the page number and page size. And how we can pass the parameters to this one. So if the request contains okay, get / and then it has page equals to 0, ampersand, size equals to 10, ampersand, and sort equals to created at comma desc. So if the request contains query parameters like this, spring-data-jpa extension is capable of extracting all these values and then preparing a pageable argument directly like this. So it is more convenient, right? Then why to reinvent all this thing and then implementing our own logic to do that? The reason being a couple of reasons actually. One is this way we are directly coupling our web layer with what are the persistence framework we are using in this case, spring-data-jpa. So what if I don't want to use spring-data-jpa? Instead, I want to use let's say spring jdbc. I don't want to use JPA at all, or I want to use juke. So in that case, we don't have these pageable arguments and all that, so it is going to break. So that is one thing. Another one is, as I already mentioned, spring-data-jpa's page number starts with 0. So which means if it is a 1, it is going to be like a page number 2. But we can also customize this to consider page number starts with 1. How can I do that? If we go to application properties, there is a property called Spring Data Web Pageable 1 indexed parameters equals to true. By default, it is false, which means the page number starts with 0. But if we set it to true, page number starts with 1. So this is going to solve our problem, right? Kinda, but half it does the half job, like it takes the parameters starts with 1, but still while returning the results like a page of some results, still the page number is represented as 0 based index, like first page is going to contain page number 0. So I don't like to have, okay, we can configure that to consider page number starts with 1, but again the result is still containing page number as 0. So instead of doing all this thing, considering I want to decouple my web layer with whatever the persistence framework I am using, I would prefer to simply take the page request parameter like this and then prepare pageable or whatever in my service layer, so that my web layer is completely independent of what are the persistence framework I'm using. So this is a little bit of convenient, but I would not prefer to go this route. I don't know, this is designed like this. I mean, returning still page number starts with 0, which is not really my personal preference. So I am going to continue with this approach only, where I take the page number and then prepare pageable argument in my service layer. Okay. So, but being aware is good. If you don't care about, okay, I'm not going to switch from spring-data-jpa to other, and also I am fine with page number starting with 0. So then I would recommend you to directly use pageable, and also you can customize your pageable argument values, something like this, using page default. So here you can specify, okay, page equals to starts with 1, and then size equals to 10. The default size is 10. Maybe you want to fetch 25 per page. So you can pass all that information as a default, so that if no request parameters like page size and sort, if they are not providing anything, it is going to consider these parameters and then construct this object. So it's up to you which one you want to use. In our case, I would like to go with this route. Finally, I would like to make one last change. Here, if you notice, we are duplicating a few lines of logic in both rendering the home page and also creating short URL. Whenever there is an error, we are again fetching the data and then putting in a model, right? So let us create a private method and call it once instead of duplicating that in two places. So create a private method and add short URLs data to model. Okay, so Also, I would like to take the page number as well. Okay, and instead of hard coding this, I would like to use that. Okay, and I'm going to call this here. Okay, I'm going to remove this, and from here I'm going to make it as 1. Okay, so now let us test it once. Okay, so here we are having the page rendered properly, and another scenario is if I don't enter anything and then submit it, it is going to render with error and still showing this data. So everything is working fine. So that's all for this video, and I hope you get a decent understanding on how to use spring-data-jpa pagination support. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.